pick a fucking trade.
Morning, everybody. It's the 8th of April. We're Signal Centre talking ball. Joe Neighbour, Steve O'Hare and Ian Coleman. Good morning, guys.
Good morning,
Good
all.
morning.
Everybody all right?
Yeah,
really
not too
good.
bad, thanks. I slept in this morning. A little confession.
Oh, did you now?
Still
lovely.
halfway through my last trade here.
Okay.
I'll try to do it all sort of like stealth-like.
What have you done then? What trades have you done?
You know what? I don't. It's sort of obviously yesterday. It's sort of slowed down a little bit, didn't it? The rally. We had the equity reversal a little bit, and
Absolutely died, I think, is what happened.
yeah.
It hit 20%, didn't it? Which is a technical bull market, and then posted a gravestone doji and fucked off again, basically.
Yeah,
Is that on the
commodities.
daily charts?
Yeah, it might have been. It's
Yeah,
just
it is,
something
yeah.
I read this morning about the S&Ps.
Yeah, that's. I saw. Funny enough, I don't know why. Would I have read that as well?
It's on that Bloomberg thing.
Oh, okay. I don't know if I see the Bloomberg thing.
I shall send it to you, and you can register.
Yeah, so no, but I read that yesterday, and I read it after the markets had shut, and I wasn't paying attention towards the close, and it sounded like the markets had a huge reversal, and I looked at it and thought, well, it's not come off that much, but
From where it was.
yeah, maybe from where it was, but I just looked at all the commodities this morning. I've run through them all, just finishing off silver, and they all have like rejected the rally yesterday, and I actually looking to sell breaks this morning. I can't really. It had enough momentum yesterday in the sell-off to sort of put where I was looking to buy the dips yesterday, put them really under pressure. So
Is there a fib there or anything, or
On the indices, or gold or silver? On the indices, there's 50% on the Nasdaq that it crashed into and failed at 81.92. S&P is sort of midway between the 38 and the 50. I don't know what the Dow's done.
So I bet my gold got. I was going to swear again. Then I'll stop swearing in the morning.
Got fact.
Got fact. Swearing in an Irish accent is not as offensive.
Fact.
Fact.
It's with an A, isn't it? Instead, it's a fact.
Yeah.
The trades we did yesterday, we had a short on New Zealand US dollar, which made 1R. We had a long on the S&P, which lost 1R, and gold was a 0.46R loss. So small down overall.
Check that, E. I think he's trying to fiddle the books again.
That's what I was going to say. What's
he just said it was like small up.
No. If I got 10 o'clock close, I would have been flat. I got a 9 o'clock close.
Yeah, I think I'd the same. If I got the 8 o'clock close, I would have been all right.
If you got the 8 o'clock close the day before, then you'd have been all right.
I think yesterday as well. I think 8 o'clock the S&P was all right. It was the last. I looked at
last hour it sold off.
The Dow Jones I looked at last night, and I put it on a 3-minute chart because I won't tell anyone why, because it's a real secret. But I put it on the 3-minute chart, and it basically had a 500 point move in 9 minutes in 3 bars. It's
Wow.
what happens is it's that market on close orders that seem to keep coming in for whatever reason. I don't really understand, what them sort of algos are doing.
AIs.
Yeah, or it may even be the sort of like traders are given these like market on close orders, so they start to do them in the last hour, try and get a decent price. But they really influence the market because there's such high volume going through in that last hour, and there's like all the other algos are switched off, so they don't really keep them in check. Anyway, I'll.
So, has anyone got any trade ideas for today? Anything that they're looking at?
Yeah,
I'll go last because I'm still trying to frantically finish this silver.
I'm looking at euro dollar.
Go on then.
Crossover charts, wedge, 13 count down here. Oh, it's there actually. Broken out the wedge, hit this pivot level. It's a previous resistance, and then it's reacted lower. But I think it's just reaction lower, just to confirm the breakout of the wedge. And if we go to the dollar basket, got quite a nice breakout there, and I think even if we get moved to the upside, it's just going to be a retest. So for me, that means short. It means lower dollar higher euro, so euro dollar.
You just hate the dollar, don't you?
I do indeed.
Any fucking excuse to
Any.
give Trump a kicking.
What time frame should I look at this? Daily, it's a bullish engulfing. 61.8% fib, previous swing here. So I think limited sell-off. If we go to this time frame, which is one that we've used for our intraday call today, we've got bespoke support here. It did spike through on the news this morning that the finance ministers, European finance ministers, failed to agree on a rescue package. They were talking about corona bonds, etc. So you got that dip lower, sharp dip lower first thing. Also got it in stocks, and Joe got quite nice entries on the back of that. So I think 5 waves up. I think that's 3 waves down, and I'm going long. And there's nothing to the upside until up here. So I'm going to go long at current levels. 108.52. Should get some decent R here. 109.90. I'll just get it under there. 108. What's that? 108.25. Greed. 5R.
Nice, very nice.
Let's hope so.
Okay.
We'll need one.
I am looking at. You right for me to go, Steve?
Yeah.
Well, let's just quickly round up the indices. As Ian touched upon there, we got a reasonable entry on the DAX this morning. The collapse yesterday saw it back down to my initial buy level from yesterday. So I left it where it was because it was a level that I quite liked, and we've touched it just this morning, just a little bit of a dip below the entry at 10.185, and we've had a nice rally off of that. So
cool.
122 pips on side with that, which is just over 1R because we've got 110 pips stop. So that's looking quite nice. The FTSE, I've traded that as well, but I think that's probably a bit too keen on the entry there. I just managed to hold on to that trade. It did come close to the stop. It's sitting around about entry at the minute, but quite like that. Yesterday, the trade on the CAC actually was the best performer of my index trades. That was, if I can get this out. No, not having it.
I've got my trade now,
Lost
guys.
the market.
You're all in trouble now.
Yeah, so yesterday we were selling at 4,500, and that sold off really nicely yesterday. I'm keeping that same level, looking for a move back there to sell. But the trade I'm actually looking at today is gold, and that is going to be contradicting what Steve has said on his morning calls today.
Yeah, you're going to shit on my doorstep, yeah?
I'm going to try, yeah. I'm going to set it on fire as well, so you have to put your foot on it to stamp it out.
No, it's 4 meters self-distancing. You can't do that.
Okay.
My legs aren't that long.
So we, in my eyes, have got a bit of consolidation going on here, potentially a flag or a wedge, and I think we're going to break up. We haven't closed above it on the hourly. We've got 7 minutes to try and have a little bit of a nudge above, so it is speculative having a go at this stage, but
yes, very speculative.
Going to have a go anyway. So I'm going to buy that now at 16.51, targeting 17.03, which is the previous swing high from back here in early March. Just fancy to continue higher, really. It's had a bit of a pullback to this previous resistant now support. I'm going to place a real tight stop loss there at 16.42.5. So 6R if that comes off.
Good luck.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Yeah, good luck, mate.
Let's get your entry price right.
Tick offside on that already, am I?
Yeah, it must be. Right.
Lovely. Go on in.
Right. Now everyone's paying attention. Right, I'll quickly whiz through. I'll go over the commodities because I'm not going to do them. Oil had this bit of a rejection. And I sort of like think with these trend lines coming in, you can't really see the trend line because it's not on this one. It was another chart. I'm waiting for this break of the trend line before. So these are my intraday trades. I'm looking to sell breaks in these. Copper, looking to sell a break. Gold, I'm looking to sell a break of 16.40. So you're not going against me.
Yeah,
You're actually,
so,
you
I'll
actually
be stopped up by then. So that's
yeah,
fine.
you're actually going with me because obviously if you get stopped at 16.42, you're saying that that's where you think you're wrong. So then you'll probably agree with me getting short, selling a break at 1640.
Definitely.
So yeah, I'm a little bit with you on gold. I still, see gold as the safe haven, but I don't think the timing's right. But wouldn't be surprised to see gold rally. So, but if it doesn't, then I'm looking to sell that break, and silver as well, looking to sell a break. But the silver trade's a little bit more short term, so the uptrend will still be in place even if I sell a break and hit my target in there. So yeah, we're not completely against each other on that.
No, that's good.
So as you see, I've drawn in these reverse head and shoulders, and just for the purposes of this, I'm going to get rid of them because, and this is my trade yesterday, you can see I was looking to buy the dip and it got stopped out. But my favorite chart pattern is reverse head and shoulders pattern. Right shoulder. Now you can trade the reverse, the head and shoulders in a number of different ways, and this is what I call diving in the deep end. You sort of like you're preempting the right shoulder. Really, you should wait till it breaks the neck, or it sort of like throwbacks to, so it breaks the neck, comes back to the neckline, retests, and then goes. So this is jumping in a bit early, but obviously if you sort of have a look at that hanging man candle there, after a very stunted shooting star, you could sort of like say there is signs of reversal here. You could even put maybe a volume on there. I don't know whether it'll show volume on here. It does. So volume is, although that's overnight volume, it's difficult to sort of like say whether that the volume is lining up with the formation itself. But you look at NASDAQ, exactly same sort of formation. They're all, very sort of like intermarket related, these all these equities. So again, that would be selling the break would be down here, and S&P's same sort of thing. So with all these at the moment, I'm not convinced that they're finished, but I'd look to sell a break in all of them. So eeny, meeny, miny, mo. I mean, am I going to go S&P again? I'll do S&P again. Selling S&P at 26.50. Oh, hold on, give your money away. 26.62. And the target on this will be a really aggressive move to the downside. I know it's ridiculous, isn't it? 24.62, and we'll go 26. Now, what does 26.92 look like? Yeah, 26.92. Stop.
What's 24.62?
I don't know, tell you what. I'll tell you what. Stop. I'll make it 27.02 because I'm feeling a bit generous. 27.02. So that's it. Get short of 26.62. Target 24.62. Stop 27.02. Again, this is the sort of like this sort of formation or market action that's played out yesterday. Puts us right in the middle. It's a sort of deciding day today. Turnaround Tuesday. Will it be turning around to the downside? I'm not 100%
Is the US
sure.
off on Friday and Monday as well?
So let's have a look at a calendar.
Not sure. Yeah, so I think sort of like this could be a defining weekend if the markets are, shut, or if all markets are shut for a prolonged period. We know the FTSE will be.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is one of these days where we'll sort of like we'll get the next push, and I think it's sort of like selling a break is probably the best way to go, just because it confirms previous support levels or resistance levels are broken.
Yeah,
Everybody's off.
So yeah, that's off. Me. I'm sort
Europe,
of like
Swiss, UK.
Confidence wise, I sort of felt a bit more confident yesterday, but today I'm sort of not so confident because it could be in that sort of like changing stage, changing the phase from the bullish trend to sideways trend, or bearish trend to sideways trend. So
yeah,
here we go.
I mean, it's decent rally from the lows, sort of 50% in most of the the US markets by the looks of
Yeah.
things. So, that's what you want to see. And obviously, as we touched upon yesterday, very disappointing into the close with a lot of the US markets, and we're sort of mixed this morning, sort of small up on a lot of the indices. The news this morning, as Ian touched upon, was about the failure to agree a support package in the Eurogroup, and that's hit sentiment this morning.
Right.
Anything else that we've seen? Obviously, no real updates on Boris Johnson by the sounds of things.
No.
They're keeping not
that
close
good
to
or
their
bad?
chest. They say they're being completely open, don't they? But
Yeah.
I mean, they're talking about you could be in there for 2 weeks.
Bloody hell! 786 deaths in the UK yesterday.
It's gone up to 1,000 overnight.
Oh wow!
Yeah, and we're still sort of, if you look at deaths from year to date so far, we're still 3,000 deaths below the 5-year average.
Oh really?
Yeah.
If you look at how many people we've tested, though, we've got a death rate of like 11% or something at the minute, which is
Against
mental.
against how many we tested, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you
I mean,
know
the
that
US are going mental on testing, aren't they? Which is a thing where we need to be.
Yeah, I mean, I know a handful of
Otherwise-
people that have had all the symptoms, but obviously they've not been put down as official statistic as having it. So I'm sure the numbers for actual cases are probably 2 to 3 times what we're saying they are, if not more.
I'd say way more than that, Joe. I'd say
Yeah,
way
maybe.
more. I reckon
Charlotte-
sort of like you're talking 10, 20 times probably the amount of people have had it. There's a lot of people who are asymptomatic. Yeah, don't have any symptoms, and they've got it. So
My
they're
boy
never
Charlie
going to.
had a temperature of 37.8 last night.
Yeah.
It's over 38, isn't it? You have to be.
Yeah, 38.7. You're in trouble. But gave him a couple of paracetamols. I've just been up and taking his temperature this morning. It's down to 36. So
He's just wanted a cup of tea in bed, didn't he?
probably.
Yeah. It was a few minutes
Probably,
before
he was getting very heated on the old.
He was putting his
Xbox,
face against the radiator.
Yeah. We've all done it.
So Wuhan emerged from the lockdown yesterday for the first time in 10 weeks.
And they're all escaping, aren't they?
Are they all running away? Are they?
they're all legging it. Now
I mean, I don't know how it's going to go after the lockdown, because
over in
travel,
China,
there must be
the
travel
exodus.
restrictions in place, because you can't just start fleeing to here, there, and everywhere and bringing it back again, can you? It's, you're reliant upon other countries to have got their house in order, and you just don't know, do you?
Yeah, maybe they've just, as they let them out, they inoculate them with the cure that they've got.
Maybe. Data-wise today, we got US crude inventories at 3:30, and that is followed by the FOMC minutes at 7 p.m. These will cover the emergency meetings on the 15th of March, which rates were dramatically cut to 0.1%. And they'll also talk about the huge new QE program, which was announced. I don't think we're expecting any surprises or particular market moving information to come from that, but you never know.
I think the oil came off yesterday as US pushed back on the OPEC Plus call for output cuts. So although Saudi Arabia and Russia will agree to output cuts, America pushed back, saying the output is already falling without government action. Okay. So that's probably a reason the oil pulled back. Main reason oil pulled back.
Going back to Wuhan, they're saying that it's an exodus. 55,000 people had train tickets for the first day of freedom.
Where are they all going to go?
To the country, I suppose. That's where most of them come from, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
It's going to be tough this weekend, isn't it? Normally, a lot of people going away. We've had work to occupy us, at least, but having 4 days just twiddling your thumbs is going to be difficult this weekend, I think.
Painting, mate. Painting. More painting.
More painting. My wife's already done the bloody painting.
Result.
Yeah. So, not sure what I have to do. Read a book, maybe. Read a book and do some running.
Yeah, Boring. Nice one. Yeah, nice one.
Don't know what the weather's supposed to be like.
Before we get clamped down completely, and then you're not allowed even outside for exercise.
Yeah.
Is that what the talk is?
Are we going to go that way?
Of it. Mate of mine had a chat with a copper in the park yesterday. He reckons it's.
Oh yeah, was he 2 meters apart?
He was on a horse, telling him that he couldn't play football with his daughter, but he was allowed to walk around the paths. and brush up against people, but he wasn't allowed to stand in the middle, sort of corner of the field and kick a ball.
Yeah, I mean,
It
this
was
is
quite
where
bizarre.
you sort of like think it's very vague, I suppose, isn't it?
Yeah,
They're reviewing it on Monday.
Yeah, I think you sort of, you know, you've got to be careful with the next thing. Why on earth wouldn't you say, right, if you go outside, everyone has to wear a mask before you start to say no one can go outside? It's absolute,
We
you
haven't
know,
got any masks.
we all have. We've all
Have
got a
we?
secret stash under the desk. You can turn a pair of
Where,
knickers
where
into
was
a
I when that
mask.
order went in? You've all done that on the company count. I haven't got one.
No, I got a pair of socks here. I'm sure I can put a sock on my head and make that into a mask. You know,
you can turn a pair of wife runs into one. I saw somebody do it on Facebook
That's
the other
right.
day.
Oh,
It
grim.
makes sure they're
You must have
clean.
loads
Or
of those.
a
haven't you?
bra or something.
G-string is the
admit-
favoured. Is the
Yeah,
favoured one.
that's like getting a bit personal for you, eh? No,
I haven't got any G-strings.
Tina's John Lewis donated a load of material. Tina's making a load of masks and gowns and everything
Send us
Is
one over then.
Good
for the
girl.
NH. Well, she says for the NHS, but I'm sort of like thinking, I might have to
Black market there.
I'll be quality control. No, that one's no good. I'll have that one. Yeah, it's got so yeah. It's I think we can all improvise. Anyone can improvise, and it just seems like a natural thing. Why don't you just like get everyone to cover up? So it takes a little bit of the risk out of it.
Yeah.
But you know, let's all focus on the facts. You know, 3,000 less deaths than the 5-year average.
Okay.
A bit
Well,
of
on
3D
that note-
printing is what you need.
Yes. Let's wrap it up for the day, shall we?
Okay.
Okay. Well, good luck with your trades, gents, and we'll catch everyone later.
Yeah, have a good one.
Cheers.
Bye bye.
Cheers.